I'm Karima Brown. It's Sunday night and it's time for The Fix. Our big hitter, Gauteng Premier David Makhura. Is he the man who can keep the ANC's grip on South Africa's economic powerhouse?
The thieves must be caught and be sent to prison.
In the week ahead, the DA suffers an identity crisis. Our panel of journalists look at the impact of how it unravels. And in the cool stuff, we held court with feminist activist and children's author Lebogang Nova Masango.
Stay low, keep firing, and it won't be too long if you endure.
The Fix starts now. Welcome to The Fix. This is where every Sunday night, without fear or favour, we question the big hitters, look ahead to tell you what will matter on Monday, and go beyond politics and look at the cool stuff South Africans are doing. We begin with tonight's big hitter. Joining me is Gauteng Premier David Makhura. And of course, good evening, Premier. Welcome to the program. Thank you so much for joining me here on The Fix.
Good evening, Karima.
Now, of course, in that opener you saw there, the big question that many people want to know is whether you're going to be able to secure the province for the African National Congress come 2019. And of course, the key issue is going to be good governance and, of course, the economy. You speak a lot about the way in which you're going to get included into the economy, young people in particular. Take us through some of the plans, the concrete plans that you have for youth around employment in this province.
Yes, Karima, thank you for inviting me. Firstly, you know that many people come from different parts of our country and the continent and even the world to Gauteng for one reason and one reason only, that's the economy. In the course of that, then there's critical issues of the kind of ecosystem, academic institutions, innovation ecosystem we have. So we have been significantly investing a lot of energy in understanding the different sectors of the economy in Gauteng as the industrial and economic hub of our country. And we have engaged quite extensively with key industry leaders to hear them first about what we need to do in each sector to increase levels of employment, to increase exports, because Gauteng is a manufacturing economy, exports especially into the continent. And thirdly, to increase levels of inclusion and empowerment.
Now,
and
of course,
that brings me to the question of the youth.
Yes. Now, of course, one of the things that bring investors to a province is policy certainty and clean governance.
Yes.
Let's take a listen to you promising clean governance, particularly on the issue of politicians having to take lifestyle audits.
Ethics and integrity must be one of the fundamental things society demands of any politician. Fundamental things. That's why we need lifestyle audits. If you're not willing to subject your own life for the public to know that, why should they entrust you with the most important decisions of our country? So lifestyle audits should be something that we insist find its way in our so the new dawn. Let's define the new dawn bit by bit. And this weekend you have taken great strides in defining the new dawn bit by bit. And the very last point on the agenda and the area of the new dawn, I want to say that civil society activism, if there's something that has taught us something from the period we have evolved from, I can tell you as the leader of the ANC, if it wasn't civil society mobilization and civil society activism, we would have not emerged from the nightmare we are just emerging from.
That is, of course, you, Premier, speaking at the gathering in the Drakensberg during former President Karima Motlante's gathering to look at how to kickstart the economy. Now, just this week we saw, the week past, you defending your current Chief Whip, Brian Hlongwa, in the House when the opposition parties wanted to bring a motion of no confidence against him. And the reason, of course, Premier, is that he is implicated in an SIU report during his tenure as the Health MEC. Let's take a listen to how you explain why he shouldn't be fired at this stage.
I think it is correct that given what we have gone through and we are not out of the woods yet, I think we should make ethics, integrity, and clean governance. So as we are obsessed with the question of education, as he suggests, but I think we should be obsessed with ethics, integrity, and clean governance. Anyone who thinks what we have gone through in that realm of governance is insignificant and small was not here in this country.
Processes. He is our member. He is entitled to ANC due process like your members are entitled to DA due processes. So we are not going to act on the basis of your call. The ANC due process will conclude and the ANC will act on the basis of what is before the ANC. So for this reason, we reject this motion. You are talking about resigning. There's no precedent in your party about it. There's no precedent in your party about it. You are not saying we must suspend him. You are saying he must resign on the basis of a special investigation report, which of course is very serious. And the ANC itself is looking at this report to engage with this member. So this pretense of high moral standards, which is basically just double standards. You want us to treat all these members of the ANC you are referring to. We had due process, either the disciplinary committee or the integrity committee. The due process, there's no member of the ANC who can say something happened, they were not called before a DC or they were not called before an integrity committee. If there's such a member, I don't know of that member. We are not happy as the ANC that this matter is still around today.
That, of course, Premier, is an incredibly heartfelt and ardent defense there of Brian Hlongwa. Would it be consistent with what we heard you say earlier on in the Drakensberg when you were speaking at the gathering there, saying that we need to be absolutely clear about the fight against corruption? Don't you think that you were in fact contradicting yourself?
Yeah, I certainly think it is very consistent with the approach that I have in dealing with corruption. Let me first say that I think it's very important to understand how should a country deal with corruption. So we need all the agencies of the state responsible for investigation, and the Special Investigation Unit does that investigation, and after that gets the other agencies of the states, the Hawks, the NPA, prosecution, and that goes to the court, because you heard me saying that if we want to deal with corruption, people must see that the corrupt end up in jail.
But that is one process, that's
Yes.
the law enforcement process.
Yes.
What about the African National Congress itself? Your Integrity Committee
Yes.
is yet to sit on this matter, Premier.
Yes.
And this matter has been coming since Brian Hlongwa was in fact the Health MEC. Those are
Yes.
many, many years ago. Why is it taking so long? And more importantly, why is he the Chief Whip? That's a very important position.
Yes, so I want, you first asked me about whether this is consistent. I would say, if you agree that my explanation of finding someone guilty is consistent with law, a law-governed society, we are a law-governed society. You can't send someone to jail on the basis of an investigation report. Even a forensic investigation report must lead to someone must either be prosecuted in a court of law or not. So let's deal with the ANC process. Brian Tlongwa appeared before the ANC's Integrity Committee, and I am very confident, Karima, that the ANC Integrity Committee will conclude its process very
Premier,
soon.
Hold that thought. When we come back, Sunday Times columnist Peter Bruce and I will continue to press for answers.